Good morning, everyone. Nathan from All Properties Group on the Gold Coast. Hopefully, you guys can hear me okay. If you can't, please put it in the comments so that I can get that fixed and start over again if we miss anything. It's a beautiful sunny day. Yesterday was a sign it looked like we're going to have a pretty terrible weekend of weather, but fantastic. It's turned it on this morning. Looks absolutely stunning outside, so make sure you get out and enjoy it. Before I start, tomorrow is the Cruise to Remember. So Pimpama Heritage Park, 9 a.m. till 12 p.m. It's a family fun day. Head on down. It's all there to raise awareness and raise money for Dementia Australia. All Properties Group, we're the major sponsor. We'll have our videography team in there and getting some content ready for future events so that we can use that for advertising in the future. I look forward to being part of this event. There's heaps of stuff there to do: cars, motorbikes, trucks, and then you got a lot of the family activities, jumping castles, and so much more. So definitely get down there. It's tomorrow at Heritage Park in Pimpama, which is just behind the new big sports centre here in Pimpama. So I want to talk about the property market on the Gold Coast. We're here every week. I'll give you an update on what happened with us last weekend with open homes, give you an idea as to how things are traveling along at the moment. But let's talk. So last weekend, 36 Yatala Streets. We had 7 inspections. It's the third week on the market. The first 2 weeks, we were averaging 2 to 3 people through the open homes. We had a big shift in the way that we priced the home, which built the competition. We had multiple offers. We're now under contract for an absolutely amazing price in the end. We're just waiting for the final conditions to be ticked off before I can announce the price. 24 Kalgoorlie Street's now unconditional. That's when we had 16 offers last week within 7 days of hitting the market. $651,000. That's in Gainsborough Greens, 320 square meter block, 4-bedroom rental property style home with a single garage. It's an amazing price. It was offers over 629 to get $22,000 above asking, and this current market was absolutely phenomenal, which I'll talk about very shortly about how we did that and the way you should be looking at selling your property through myself or through other agents, what you should be considering. But obviously, the elephant in the room, the interest rates went up again, another 50 basis points, and that's going to cause a little bit of distress for the week. But we see that that's probably now people are used to these sort of hikes. People have been allowing for that in their interest rates when they're allowing for finance. I don't see it having a huge play in the marketplace. We've just seen buyers start coming back to the market. We're seeing a lot more investor interest and activity at the moment. And first home buyers especially, they're all coming back to the marketplace right now. We're even finding, I've got properties down in Benalla at the moment sitting just shy of that $4 million mark, and the increased inquiries down there has probably shown a sign that people are getting prepared for a slowdown in interest rate rises and for more than likely some backpedaling. We've spoken about this in past videos. Obviously, large banks have started backpedaling their long-term interest rates for fixed. They've obviously lowered them between 1% and 2% because they're preparing for next year for the RBA probably to go too hard on interest rate rises and the need to back off once they get a handle on inflation. So they're allowing for that, and they're starting to get a lot more confidence into the market that way. But obviously, there's still a big question mark. They have said when they announced it on Tuesday night, there's another 50 basis points, that there are more interest rate rises coming for the remaining months of the year. What they haven't indicated, because technically speaking, they can't, is how heavy those interest rate rises are going to be. Are they going to continue to be 50 basis points? Or we're all predicting, and what they're saying is potentially they're going to slow down the rate rises. So we're going to go back to hopefully 25 and 10 basis point rises, sort of still giving that handle on inflation, but without going too wild. We've seen big rises from here. We're at 0.1% to start the year. We're now at 2.35% the cash rate at the moment. And obviously, we're seeing the big banks are passing on every single rise. But I want to talk about that for a second, because right now in this marketplace, most people I'm talking to that I'm going into appraisals that are refinancing, that are getting prepared at the moment, haven't actually allowed, because they've all assumed that their current repayments have allowed for the new interest rate rises because they haven't been notified otherwise. But most of these interest rate rises, the big banks aren't passing on. They're 2 to 3 months lag from when they say they're passing it on to when it officially kicks in. So we've got probably a lot of these interest rate rises that people have not noticed yet because they started quite slow. But these 0.5% that have been successive now for the last few months, we won't start to see that in people's mortgage repayments until later this year. And that's, for me, going to be the next tipping point where we might see a few changes in the marketplace. But for now, confidence has risen. People are getting in. They're starting to lock in interest rates, and they're starting to get prepared for the fact that property prices, when it first happened, when the interest rates first started going up, they took the biggest dive straight away, which, to be fair, in most cases was between 7 to 10%. They weren't huge in comparison to the, on average, 25% increase over the last 2 years. So it's really not that bad. But they were hoping that they would continue to fall fast. But we've already seen it. Prices have actually started to plateau because if you do things right, which we've seen in 24 Kalgoorlie Street and 36 Yatala Street as of recent, is that if you price it well and you get buyers excited, the competition is what drives premium prices in any market. Good markets, bad markets, buyer markets, seller markets, every single time, if you're a buyer, and I've done it, when you know that there's a buyer that's trying to take something away from you, you're willing to fight to win it. Sometimes budgets get thrown out the window, sometimes emotions take over. And as a seller, that's exactly what you want to be doing, which is why you'll start to see we've just listed number 46 Rate Street, which comes to the market next weekend. We got the photos this morning. Amazing. This place is going to go nuts. That's going to be going to auction on the 8th of October. And you're going to start to see auctions become more prominent as the market starts to shift up and down almost what seems like weekly at the moment to ensure that we're doing the right thing by sellers. And it also provides that transparency to buyers where they know exactly what's going on. They can see what the market sees value in so that that fear of overpaying is handled by seeing what other buyers are willing to pay as well. So keep an eye out on that. I'm going to start to see that from what I'm noticing around the Gold Coast is starting to pick up traction a lot more. Even through Brisbane and Logan, I'm starting to notice a lot more auctions coming to the market for potentially that reason. And buyers are starting to prepare for it. They're talking to banks now and getting themselves in a position to bid at auction. Where if we went back during COVID or pre-COVID, auctions were not prevalent. Most buyers didn't know how to bid, but the education process of the last couple of years, and especially for the first 6 months of this year, has definitely gotten everyone prepared. But we're moving to a similar market where auctions are going to be one of the most dominant ways of selling houses on the Gold Coast. But that's just what I'm seeing. If you have a difference of opinion, please put it in the comments. I'd love to have an open-minded discussion with you and talk about this. But the good news in all of this is that buyers are still confident. Despite the interest rate rise, yes, we do see a small slowdown, but there's actually still been a good level of inquiry across the board on properties this week, even after Tuesday's announcement. Today, we'll see what happens with the open homes at the end of the day. Last weekend, we had a great turnout to majority of our open homes. In the luxury market last weekend, the open homes were still quite scattered, ones and twos. But in the majority of the marketplace, we saw between 5 and 10 buyers through open homes. And that's a really good sign of what's to come. So keep an eye out on that. But definitely, that's going to wrap it up, guys. If you ever have any questions, if you'd like anything to cover, please reach out, send me a message, put in the comments in these videos. I'm happy to take these on board next week to our videos and answer them live so that everyone gets the benefit of understanding these questions. But that's the main topics. That's the main things that we're getting feedback that people want to understand at the moment is how do we sell our house in this market? What's going to happen with interest rates and what's happening in the market right now? The good news is there's confidence. So if you're selling or you're buying, now is the time to move and make some action. And if you want to do that, my number's below 0407 760 435. Beautiful sunny weekend ahead of us, guys. Head out. Hopefully I'll see you guys tomorrow at the Cruise to Remember event in Pimpama and talk to you soon.